Sage is kind of like a camp, a day camp. We do job shadowings, projects, career talks. So like where specialists from their field come in and discuss what paths they do and then explain like what projects they do at Livermore. It's inspiring and it's like I want to like develop more technology and like it's so like cool. Like it makes me like so giddy to talk about.
One of my favorite things is just like having those conversations like during lunch with an employee, and like it really puts it into perspective for you. And so learning about how they started just like us, that was one of the biggest standouts to me, that they were in our place at one point and now they're here talking about like a lifelong career they're having and the passion that they have towards their work.
And it really showed me that women aren't as visible in the STEM field as I thought they were. And the fact that it's more just girls, it's like, wow, so we could all someday be working here or just somewhere in the STEM field anywhere we want.
SAGE is a week-long camp for girls hosted by Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, engaging students in science and technology that we do at the lab. We offer the opportunity for girls to learn about careers at the lab, meet our scientists and engineers, and do hands-on projects focused on the types of work that we do here at the laboratory. I think the most rewarding part of the week is to see a group of girls that don't know each other when they first sit down that first morning, become engaged with each other as they go throughout the activities and the day.
Gotten really comfortable because they're all girls. I don't think I noticed how comfortable I was that it's all like women in STEM. But once I realized like, oh, I feel so comfortable with these girls and they have so much I can relate to.
Just in STEM fields in general, I don't think there are a lot of girls. So it's actually quite shocking that I'm in a room full of girls who are interested.
So prior to this, I wasn't too interested in science exactly or anything in the STEM field. I was always a little bit more pushed away from it because of like the difficulty. But we did a job shadowing for quantum mechanics yesterday and I didn't understand it, but it was just so cool walking in there, seeing all these, they had like a fridge type machine with all these wires and whiteboards filled with equations and all these cool things, and it was just something like, oh, I could see myself doing, and it sparked something in me, and that was just my favorite thing this week so far.